You're listening to Hayes Radio Network, Cannabis Lifestyle Radio. All right, so we're CWCBE, day 2. Long day yesterday. A lot of people roaming around, interested in all the different things that are going on in the cannabis industry. And then there's all those after parties that you have and all those different events that everybody's trying to get a hold of and go to and do. And today I got my buddy David Carr with Perfect Grow, California. What's up, my man? How you doing today?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, brother. So let me ask you something. I always kind of like to throw this out there before we get into the biz.
Okay.
What'd you do prior to cannabis?
I built restaurants and got ripped off by a bunch of freaking cheap-ass people.
Okay. Let's get a little bit more into that.
Cheap-ass people.
When did you start doing restaurants? Like what age and how
13.
long? 13?
Yeah.
No shit, really? And what was the first, like...
Oh, I'm 55. My grandfather was a real big engineer / HVAC contractor.
Okay.
And he decided that he wanted to get into some new things, so we started getting into stuff with NASA and Boeing and surgical rooms. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, so while everybody else was surfing, having a good time in high school, through summer I was out busting my butt.
Busting your butt. And how
yeah.
long that went for? How long you
my grandfather and I worked together until he passed away in 97.
Okay, so...
And
And the last 20 years, what did you do then? Before were you still? Then you got into cannabis, or then?
No, then I got into the restaurant stuff myself.
Okay.
I started putting in hoods and walk-in freezers, coolers, stainless steel, stuff like that.
Nice.
I still do edibles kitchens in my company too, by the way.
Okay.
But then after that, I was still doing this. I just, like I said, I was laying in bed one night about a year before he died. Said, man, I want to get into something that actually pays me.
Sure.
And I don't have 10 people tell me they don't have any money, but they want to open $1 million restaurant. So I told them if I could find anything to do, I would do it. And then right after that, one of my walk-in manufacturers called me and wanted me to put a Eden grow room in Reno. I didn't know what that was.
And you didn't know what it was.
No,
like,
so I went and talked to the guy and I said, hey, how's it going? I'm Dave. I'm going to do your job. But what do you do? He says, I grow marijuana. And I said, really? So he started telling me that he's kind of a smart kid, But after I did that, I went to the California Cannabis Industry Association.
Nice.
And I started talking to those guys, and I was just doing grow rooms.
Okay.
And then by the end, I had a meeting.
And what you were they picking who they wanted to buy everything from, and you essentially would come and install it, or were you actually providing these facilities with all the equipment also?
The only thing I don't provide is the extraction equipment. I provide all the refrigeration, the chillers, let's just start what we do. I started in 2014, and I started what I just told you. And then the guy at CCIA, he was the director of the California Cannabis Industry, he said, hey, man, he says, get out of that, get into extraction.
Okay.
So I with what I knew, he said I could get into it, because grow rooms, everybody was doing it,
Sure.
So
our extraction rooms are harder because depending on what state, let's say Colorado, right?
Right.
They're very stringent, and you have to build these like almost explosion-proof rooms, or like that they're capable of taking an explosion or something like that.
No, it's not like that. Everybody calls it explosion-proof, but it's actually it's more hazardous ratings.
Okay.
Everything is spark-proof and not explosion-proof. There's nothing.
Spark-proof.
If you go to explosion, what we'd have to do is build this thing inside of a steel building that's 3 inches thick. And,
okay.
That's what you put ammo in for the Army.
Okay, sure. But what you're talking about is fire hazard proof in case there was some form of explosion in the room from combustibility.
Exactly. So what you have to do, you start with your walls that you use. A lot of people like the modular systems. People want them more. So, but the problem is in my business, there's a lot of guys out there selling rooms. Some of them almost look like paint booths, and then they have to turn around and get a modular room. Everybody loves the modular, and then they turn around and build a building around it. And I'm like, well, why do you even have a modular there? Why don't you just build the building into a lab? It's kind of like It's
Wow. So you've heard of people that actually got a modular thing, set it up, built a building around it.
And then you could use it because that was the code, and that's the old code.
I got you.
Now we don't use any drywall or anything. Everybody uses the double drywall and
Sure.
stuff. That worked back when there was asbestos in the stuff. And I remember using it when I was a kid with my grandfather.
Oh yeah, that
you
should
couldn't
kill
burn
you.
that stuff. Yeah, exactly. So what we did is I have a special rating that I have with my stuff. It's a proprietary coating I use that can go 1 to 4 hour rated.
1 to 4 hour rated.
Yes,
Wow.
and I don't need walls.
You don't
Except
need
the
walls.
walls are using the modular ones.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
And with ours, you can build the extraction rooms, you can build the freezers, the refrigerators, the ethanol storage rooms. We do light deprivation.
Oh, nice.
And we do hemp and cannabis heating rooms.
Okay.
And we're in the process right now of building. You ever go to those fairs and they have those big long concession trailers they're selling food out of? The
Yeah,
big
of
ones?
course. Yeah.
I'm taking something like that and I'm actually putting a full system that I could back right into a hemp grow and they can just start processing it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Now, where are you based in Cali?
Corona.
Corona. So
Yes.
is that Southern Cali? Where is that?
Yeah, it's just like an hour from here.
An
It's
hour from
going
here.
on the 15 towards San Diego.
And is that now? Do you have any licenses, or do you mainly do stuff for people, or did you kind of cross over and say, "Hey, I want to do some shit myself"?
Yeah,
or
no,
what?
I don't do installations or anything anymore. Unless somebody has a problem getting their walls put up, we'll come and do it for free. We don't charge.
So we have another guest that popped on. Why don't you say hello and let the crowd know what's up?
How's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Tell everybody, Lady
I'm
Savage.
actually from Southern California. I sound like it.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Lady Savage, tell everybody about yourself.
I consult in the space, so I'm with Blunt Consultation. I work with different companies, growers, farmers, patients, and anything in between. So it's all about keeping it farm to table, right?
I'm actually, I build extraction labs and grow facilities, and I do light deprivation stuff. I do a lot of different things.
Okay.
Like I told him, I've been in the business, in the HVAC business, God, since I was 13. I'm almost 56 years old.
So a lot of HVAC guys got into growing.
Yeah, but the problem is
Isn't
again,
that crazy?
It's
Yeah, no, I mean, it's perfect, though, because you think about it, you got to control the climate to keep the flower where it's at, and the HVAC guys at least know it's not like a...
Well, what you find out with those guys is back in the day when everybody was underground, everybody just wanted to buy a bunch of 5-ton units for cooling on the internet, so it was just inconspicuous.
It was cheap.
Yeah, well, not so much cheap. It was just inconspicuous because they could get it. Nobody's looking at it. And I've got guys still today that have a big, huge room that's maybe 5,000. They want 21 5-ton units. I'm like, dude, I could do it with 2.
Wow.
And
so in your philosophy, have you gone and seen a lot of operations other than the ones you've set up and realized how over the top, let's say, people did and not even known the wastage, let's say, of HVAC? Because that's a lot of power, right? If you could do it with 2 in a smart, systematic way, but someone fucking uses 4 or 5 to do the same thing, they're using double the amount of power right?
Let's say they use 25-ton units, right? So that's, 100 tons? And I could turn around and go put 250s there and pipe it in right.
And get the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the same
exactly.
effect, if not better.
In fact,
because you're being able to actually control it better.
We actually have a proprietary rack that's going to be spec'd with the state of California. And what it does is it provides regular 35, 40 temperature for just to store whatever.
Okay.
We can do 0 to -10. We can do -20, and we can always go down to -40. And we all do that with this rack. Then we have a glycol system that we use that can take everything down to -60. And
How long does it take?
Depends. To get to -60?
How long does it take in general just to be, to be cured in there?
I really don't know much about how they extract. I have a basic knowledge of it. Yeah, I'm sitting here not been talking right in your microphone.
I got you.
Well, we're looking out into the space of this huge event, so it's all right, man. We're all getting distracted by little things.
Yeah,
Like shiny.
Yeah, there you go. Or good-looking women. Yeah.
Oh, hey, where?
Hey, look, got one right next to me.
Oh,
Yeah. All right.
And
I'm
you.
being a gentleman. I'm being a gentleman.
I got no control over that right there.
But anyway, back to what we do. I've been doing this a long time, and I'm ahead of the game in this. I do
Okay.
because a lot of people getting into this don't have the true experience that they need
So
to
would
have.
you
It's-
say that you save them money at least when they're starting to give you lists of all the stuff they want to put in? Do you ever say, oh man, you don't need this, and this, you're going too over the top, or like what's this? Is that happen a lot or no?
Yeah, well, like I said, there's a lot of people out there that think they know what they're doing. They're selling things that people really can't use. I have a lot of customers that one guy, I'll sell them something, and then I turn around and say, hey, they can't get it passed in the city or the state. So then I pass mine because mine does.
Sure.
So
you're telling me there's even issues where guys will pay for all this fucking crazy equipment, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then all of a sudden they get into the building, starting to put it together, and the county goes, well, in our county, you can't have that.
Exactly. And,
And how often does that happen?
Oh, probably every time. At least, I think every other job I go to, I deal with that. I understand they're trying to make a buck and they're trying to do their thing, but it's a lot more complicated. It's not as easy as people make it sound.
No, it's not. Especially if you don't know what you're doing.
Right, and and we don't just go out there, and I have the experience. I have the engineers, the architects, and everybody to back me up on everything. And what we do is, we just do it right. We don't ban anything. We go by codes. We do everybody wants to sell this little cheap pod for $45,000 to somebody with fans and everything.
Right.
And these guys going, oh yeah, cool. I go over there with 3 times as much. Oh, I bought it for this, and I'm like, well, you can't use it. Mine's more expensive, but you get what you pay for. That's in any situation.
Sure.
And I'm not putting anybody down. I'm not trying to bag on anybody.
You're also working in an industry that's homegrown. So a lot of these people are used to doing everything themselves. They do their own research. And so that's really, to them, it's almost a little bit of the ego gets pulled into that.
Yeah, it's like that. But I'm really easy with these guys.
It's educating them.
Exactly.
It's educating them. It's showing them, like you said, the difference between, look, man, you're going to get this much, and you're going to get the yield, but I'm going to give you this much less, and you're going to get the same yield but better.
Right.
You might put a little bit more on the front end, but your end will be
all
better.
my stuff is temperature controlled. I have R34 insulation in my walls. I have all that stuff. So.
How many?
Let me lean forward.
How many jobs how many years have you been doing it now?
Since 2014, I started designing everything because what I did is, like I told you, I was in the industry where I was building restaurants and I had walk-in walls sitting all over the place.
Sure.
What made you switch to this then?
Because restaurant people are cheap asses and don't pay shit.
Do you hear that, restaurant world?
Fuck you.
Oh, Lindsay, don't take it personally.
Not everybody. No, just it's cutthroat, I always did everything right. You didn't have to worry about anything I did.
I like it.
I put a 12-foot hood in for a restaurant. I charge $15,000. I get a guy comes in and says, I can do it for $5,000. And he thinks because the equipment's so cheap, he can do it for $5,000. And the next thing you know, I'm going back, and this guy's saying, please fix it. I'm like, no, I'm tearing it all the way down. I'm using everything new.
Get what you pay for, yeah.
All right, yeah. And I just got tired of it. I got tired of it's saturated. Yeah. And I have a lot of experience in cooling, air movement, engineering in general, and I wanted to use it for something I could do. And what really got me into it, more or less, anything, was I watched this YouTube video of this little girl having seizures constantly, and I watched what it did for her, and I watched one of my best friends has Parkinson's, and I gave him some oil one day, and he stopped shaking. I almost started crying. I was like, I'm into it for this.
Wow.
I mean, I'm into it for the money too, but I mean, when I charge for something, it's legitimate.
It's important.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go do it for $20. I mean, if you're looking for that, I'm not your guy.
Yeah, of course.
But if you want something you know is going to work, you have everything you need in the situation. I guarantee everything I do. I'm easy to get a hold of. I can talk the talk and walk the walk in this.
And if the companies really care about the end user, they should care about the quality of the product that they're using.
Yeah, the companies that are going to make it in this business are the ones that do what I'm telling you.
Right.
On that note, why don't we give out a couple of shout outs to some of the facilities that you have done and are very successful today?
Okay. Give a shout out to Matt Reese, Third Exit Extracts.
Nice.
And Tony Tatowny. I'm building a really nice, big, huge lab for you, and you were here yesterday. And
Sweet. How big of a building?
20,000 square feet.
Yeah, it's a nice size structure right there, huh?
And he met me, and he had bought those pods I told you.
Okay.
And I told him, no, you can't do it. So he checked me out. This guy's.
Sure.
I'm not gonna say it though.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm gonna check it out.
He said he's a nice gentleman.
Yeah, there you go. He's a great guy. And when he found out what I knew, the guy put me totally in charge of everything he does now for this.
What a nice
Who
gentleman.
was the first client to start your cannabis career?
Dickhead. What's his name?
Yes. Oh God, can we make a badge?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I'm not going to give the name out.
Okay.
I'm not going to give it. But what I did is I went ahead and I told them what needed to be done, and they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and they were trying to tell me how to do something they knew nothing about. So, and they just, it was a big joke.
Yeah.
And I'm not easy to deal, hard to deal with. I'm easy to get along with. But if you can hire me as a professional, let me be a professional.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, exactly. And but again, it's like you said too. You got to prove it a little bit.
Right.
And you've had your opportunity to do that.
Oh God, everybody knows me now. I got a lot of guys. I'm going to shut up because I know you want to get rid of me.
No. I still got you. I'll let you know when I'm over.
No, he wants to.
I want to ask like that. What was your first cannabis person that you consulted?
Oh man.
Do you remember or no?
Yeah, no, I remember. I mean, there were so many in the beginning because I got to meet so many amazing people.
Sure. But the first main one,
the first main one is going to be Seattle.
Okay.
It was in Seattle with Todd's and Todd's Trading Post, and then also with Sears.
Okay.
Amazing groups of people, and probably showed me the best side of what cannabis and the patients are about.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of really nice guys out there that understand and appreciate what you do.
So who are your shout out highlights to some companies you've consulted with?
Oh, well, like Enlighten TV is one. I love their dispensary-based educational platform.
Oh, nice.
Novus has been really great. They're a supplemental insurance group that gives medical cannabis patients discounts.
Nice.
There's 420 Support Group and also all the other groups that work downtown Skid Row.
So 420 Support Group, what is that? What is that, essentially?
Essentially, there's a group of people that work downtown Skid Row directly with Gladys Park and with UNICEF and LASA and help to feed the patrons. There's also Polly's Project down there, which is directed at kids with autism. It's amazing.
That's cool.
I've talked to someone about that.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I like this business. I really do. I like the people. I just like the whole situation. And I try to give as much as I can. I believe, you ever heard of LEAP? Law Enforcement Against Prohibition.
No, I didn't even know that.
Those guys are a bunch of cops and lawyers and ex-judges that are saying...
Aren't they the Proud Boys?
No.
That's
what I'm giving my shout out to. These guys are awesome, man. They're saying, hey, let's make it all legal. That way, there's no way for the shithead drug dealers to give people crap and to make people go out and sell their bodies and everything they own for it. Make it all legal. I mean, you're gonna have less violence. They have places where you can go in and if you do have a heroin addiction, you can go and inject yourself in a place with people around you.
I want to replace methadone clinics with dab bars.
Yes.
From my lips to your people's ears.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it should be.
I'm laughing
that
about
would be great.
The opioid people right now are sitting there and saying, hey, we got something to help you do it. They give you another opioid, they give you another opioid.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and then, they've even got stuff for your stomach that is an opioid.
They do the same thing with type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
It's a diet issue, but they'll give you pills, blood pressure, and it pushes you into needing insulin.
Yeah, and once you take one
I'm
pill,
well aware.
you got one pill, you got 10 side effects.
So wait. So explain that. I never heard that.
So I used to work with a chiropractor, and I've worked with several of them because I've consulted in other industries. So chiropractor I worked with, he did specific study on type 2 diabetic, patients.
Sure.
And he would do blood diagnostics from the beginning to the end and go through just dietary changes with them and show that literally they could take their T cell count, right?
Yeah.
And everything up into positive measures to where they were no longer type 2 diabetic.
Wow.
And it really, it's a facade to say, oh, you're type 2, let's get you right into that insulin, sir. You might as well just start slamming yourself right away. But it's just the diet. But patients would come in and pay $10,000 out of pocket because insurance does not cover diabetic care. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of these people they're like yourself, right? Or anyone in here. I love to eat. So to change my diet for health is difficult, So people have a hard time doing that.
That's weird. I don't eat bad. I don't eat a lot of salt. I don't eat crap. I don't like...
I'm not a big salt person either. Yeah. I don't add salt to things.
I don't either.
I'm never a salt adder.
And they say you shouldn't eat this, you shouldn't eat that. I watched a documentary
I'm
on
so
that.
salty. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
I love it. It's great.
So anyway, bottom line is
man.
I consider myself, and I've been told by many people, that my business, my company is one of the best out there. People come to these shows just to talk to me sometimes.
Hell yeah, that's great, bro.
And I wish everybody success in this industry, but you can't come in and you can't play games, and you can't try to make the marijuana money, which you sell everything for 1,000% what it's really worth.
Sure.
Because these guys are coming in, they're looking for people to help, and you're just kind of screwing them to make your quick buck.
Well, we were talking about the nonprofits earlier and how they feel like some of the smaller nonprofits within cannabis, not the big ones that everybody knows, but some of the smaller ones that are actually doing some things on the service social level don't get support that they need.
No, they don't.
So, and they get forgotten.
That's just like whenever they started the Home Depot and all those places, we had all those little mom and pop stores that they had, and then they took over everything. And now you go to some
the little
place,
hardware stores are gone.
Yeah, and you can go to a place and you only get 6 different types of things, and those little places you could have got anything you wanted.
Oh, you can only get 2 different types of hammers now. Yeah. My goodness, your laugh's over. Jesus.
Hey, I get it.
Yeah, no, but I get it. But I like that. I think cannabis and hemp are bringing ag and farming back. Into normal, right? Where people are more self-sustaining, which is so much better, because if you think about the food quality that we have right now, in essence, is poor.
Sure.
And it's getting less and less of what it used to be, I feel.
Have you ever seen that thing where they showed Britain's oatmeal and our oatmeal?
Yeah, the comparisons are scary.
Oh, it's wild, man. And they're so money hungry in this country that they want to hurt everybody, and they don't want anybody to live a long time because it costs too much money.
Well, now
it really doesn't, though.
No, I know. Well, cannabis heals, right? So now we're healing people. So you think about the population and sustainability, having farmers be not so like. When other people were like Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton, they'd go on people's farms and destroy the milk and destroy all their hard work, and it was so funny.
Sure.
I'm like, I hate you both. Like, you just ruined society for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So, but now it's almost turning on its face, and now it's almost, people want to get into that. They want to start growing, whether it's their own vegetables or they're being vegan now.
Sure.
Yeah.
And people, if you're vegan, please grow 1 vegetable per household, because if you are all eating all the good vegetables, I'm not getting any left. Like, I found worms in my corn one time. Like,
well, you know what? I watched a documentary about our food, and I actually, if you think about it, you can get protein or anything you want out of plants. The same exact proteins and beans and everything else. I have nothing against meat. I love it. But since I learned that, now I've went like 65-45 on my diet. Now I'm going to go 70-30 pretty soon.
Let's do the Whopper challenge. The plant-based Whopper that came out.
No, I eat the Beyond.
There was a don't tell me that there's a Whopper challenge.
Oh no, but it's created right here, right now, man.
I love
the
it.
Whopper
like,
challenge.
Wow, that's
I eat Beyond Burgers at Carl's Jr.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I put them in there instead of beef.
Subway, you don't know, but there's a veggie, like a little 6-inch veggie, but you can get a Veggie Max, which is an actual patty. It's delicious.
What?
Or
they don't even have it on the menu, but I guarantee you it's back there.
Pyology has that too. They have a cauliflower crust with plant-based food,
and it's delicious.
Oh yeah, it's great, man.
What's that called?
Pyology.
I never heard of that.
Oh, they're awesome, man. Best pizza you can get.
Yeah,
what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's nice and thin, and it's artesian style. It's
where?
Really
where is that?
Anywhere.
They have them all over Cali.
Yeah, go try it.
Oh
really?
Yeah, Pyology. What's the other one? Blaze. Because we're like, let's go Blaze the pizza.
Yeah, Blaze
I've heard of Blaze, but not Pyology.
Yeah, Pyology's awesome.
I'm a pizza machine, man. I love that shit.
Oh yeah, me too.
Really.
I like it because it's thick, and the Italian in me wants to eat pizza.
Yeah.
But I want to fold it in half from New York and have it like.
Forget about it.
Most of the West Coasters don't truly understand the true Sicilian pizza like you get in New York.
Yeah, nobody beats
like
New York pizza. I've been everywhere, and nobody beats it.
Let's go with Mexican food now. There's one in every corner.
No.
The best Mexican food I've ever eaten is my godmother. She was from Guadalajara. I come to see her. I pull in my car under her driveway. She's like 75 years old. And that's the making me tortillas and Man, nobody could beat it. You guys don't have shit
Well, no,
compared to her.
so when I travel and I go to places and I got friends in those states, I want to go to their grandmother's house or their mom's house for food.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, I went to Georgia and we were going to a restaurant. And I go, I want to go where the homegrown stuff is. And they sent me to a place that was gross. So it's become a staple. Every time I go somewhere, I want to go to the grandma's. But Mexican food doesn't exist normal on the East Coast. There's a place in Bridgeport, Connecticut called La Michoacana. That's the only one I've ever found.
Oh, did you hear that everybody voted on the East Coast that Taco Bell was the best Mexican food around?
There's no Taco Bell, no Jack in the Box, and no
Oh, my
In-N-Out.
God.
Ah, that's terrible,
That's some
man.
funny shit.
That's terrible. Well,
One of my favorites.
my other grandfather, my dad's father, he was a farmer in Fontana. Oh, I had everything natural if I wanted. I'd go picking berries,
Oh,
strawberries out of the ground. I miss that stuff,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know. But anyway, I
Hell
gotta get
yeah.
back. I gotta get back
I
to my
figured,
job.
yeah, we were getting close to the end of the episode. Any shout outs to friends or family out there?
Yeah, my boys over there, Jordan and Sergio, they're doing their job. Jordan's my son. Sergio's my tax write-off.
Nice.
I love him like a son. All you guys out there trying to make it happen, I can help you out.
Give 'em a
And all
website.
you guys trying to do what I do, I wasn't putting you down. I'm just putting you in your place.
Why don't you give them a website and how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can go onto www.perfectgrowca.com. If you're interested in my product, email me at sales@perfectgrowca.com and we'll get back with you right away.
Lady Savage, any shout outs?
Oh, no, just to everybody who knows who they are.
There you go.
Hell yeah. So I
Who
figure it's
am
about
I?
time.
Who am I? I don't know who I am.
I think the interview went well and definitely time for a little smoke break. So I think we'll take a little break and then we'll be back.
Vape rip.
I got to go see my people.
Peace.
See you later.
You're listening to Hayes Radio Network, Cannabis Lifestyle Radio. All right, we're live, CWCBE, day 2. It's been popping. A lot of people coming in, checking out all the different things we got in the cannabis industry, and everybody enjoying all the great after parties and stuff that comes along with a great, convention and exhibition on cannabis. And I got my buddy Ali and Ganji. I don't want to mess it up. And tell us about yourself, my man.
Well, I'm a cannabis entrepreneur, and I was just appointed the president of NUGL Media Group. We're a publicly traded company, NUGL.com.
Okay, so NUGL, stock company on the cannabis pink sheets, or on the pink sheets, right?
Correct.
On the pink sheets, and this is the stock symbol NUGL.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool, right? Sometimes it's hard to get the letters that you want to get, right?
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Kind of, and is it much of a process to wait to see if you get approved for like the letters and things like that?
I'm more on the business development
I got
side.
you.
Yeah,
I
those
got
guys,
you.
they got lucky. They got the name. And
They got lucky.
This ticker symbol, so it's been going well.
Before we get in depth about NUGL, though, I always like to ask, what did you do prior to the cannabis industry?
Healthcare.
Healthcare.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Insurance, this, what?
Well, I was really teaching physicians how to get patients off opioids using
wow.
non-narcotic, non-steroidal pain creams and nutrition. And
wow.
when I saw what cannabis was doing for people, the writing was on the wall. Cannabis was the next venture in my life, and I'm dedicating my life to the cannabinoid.
So interesting. I never knew that. So pain creams can deter opioid use?
Yeah, imagine you go into an office and the physician, and you say, hey, my elbow is really hurting, and the physician says, well, here, take Oxycontin because you're in pain. Well,
Okay.
why don't you medicate the actual place that hurts?
Sure.
Right? And look at the nutrition, look at your active lifestyle, look at everything.
Okay.
So if you try to mitigate the pain with a direct topical, or let's say even a patch, right, it'll stop from you taking a pill and affecting the whole body. So it
Oh,
was
wow. And what was because let's be honest, doctors do get paid, essentially, for writing scripts for these opioids. How do you go to a doctor and get him to deter something like that because you're asking him to use a cream that he probably doesn't even get any monetary benefit from?
Well, back in 2010 is when I started, and
Okay.
it was, the onset of the opioid crisis was just being announced, and it was challenging back then when I would walk into an office, but it would be, hey, you're making your patients addicts. Why don't you pay attention to what you're writing? And
Okay.
the scale and the addition of every month, they're probably going up in milligrams. So we were getting their attention, and then slowly but surely the industry turned, and now it's challenging to write a prescription, right? But back then it was hard. So people were getting it, and it was really the liability issue that was getting the doctors. They were more scared of getting sued rather than what's actually going to happen to the patient.
Absolutely. But aren't they more scared now because they are cracking down on the opioids about writing too much? I mean, a lot of these doctors are fucking losing their jobs and their licenses, right?
The great part is that the tides have turned. No one's really saying, hey, let me write you a script for pain right away. Here's a Vicodin. It's out there. Owners of pharma companies are getting sued. The challenge is, though, now taking those same doctors and saying, okay, what's your alternative?
Sure.
Instead of a Tylenol, hey, let's look at cannabis, guys. Let's look at CBD.
Nice.
Let's look at, and that's the next wave, I believe, of us breaking the stigma, still educating, getting the endocannabinoid system educated in every college, every university, for physicians and every medical school.
So you're big on the education component,
100%.
right?
That's why I got in the industry. I just didn't want to sit around and get high with a cool rapper. It was how do I help grandma?
And how did you dip in, like start getting into that? Because obviously you were getting into that before you got this job at NUGL, right? So
Correct.
Let's talk about what you were doing, or what was the first thing you did in the cannabis industry. Let's talk about the first thing.
The first thing I did, which was probably backwards, was I was awarded a license in Las Vegas with 13 other professionals, medical and legal professionals, and it was a large project, and knock on wood, it's still underway. God bless Las Vegas and their licensing process and our build out, but we have 13 acres of cultivation and extraction, and hopefully that'll be live this year.
Nice.
Yep.
What area of Nevada?
North Las Vegas.
Oh, North Las Vegas. All right, cool. Yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff down in that area as far as the cultivation and the warehouses and things like that. But parts of North Las Vegas is definitely a lot of gangs and this and other areas. Is there ever a fear of, of worrying about like having those kind of intrusions to your facility, let's say?
I wouldn't say it's a fear. There's always a concern.
Okay.
But, as you know, you lived in Vegas for 25 years. It's pretty much the safest place you can be. If you're a local and you have a business, Las Vegas is about business and protecting those businesses.
Sure.
So we have no concerns being, successful businessmen in Las Vegas.
Do they ask for a lot of, obviously a lot of security when you build a facility like that, right?
Yeah, you're plugged into the state and you're monitored 24/7, and I believe it's mandatory to have a guard.
Okay, yeah, so that's great. And what did you do? You got the license, you're going through the process, right? Hold on. Hold on one second. Sure. We got we gotta lower the radio for a second. Hold on one second. Hold on. I had to fix a little sound difficulty for a second. So, the license takes time. You got to wait for the process. You got to go through all the politics of that. How long is that? You said that's been going on a year and a half now? Or what?
It's a little bit longer than that.
Year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
While that's going on, what are you doing then?
Well, I decided to venture out on my own, and I went to Washington and invested in an outdoor farm and try to teach myself outdoor cultivation, and that was a quick, swift kick in the nuts. Okay,
so you go out there. You've never grown before.
Never.
I'm gonna go and do an outside grow.
Yep.
Who did you recruit? What did you do? How did you? You're like,
well,
where do I start?
Yeah, I went to a co-op farm, and there was a 2-acre plot there. And luckily, I met a former cannabis operator in Washington, Grant Gulick, and we hit it off. And we decided, I was like, okay, he's an agronomist. His father owns some large cherry farms.
An agronomist?
Correct.
Explain that for our stoners out there.
Hold on, let me Google it.
What? What?
Yeah. It's the study of large-scale farming.
Okay.
So he got a degree in that, but his passion was cannabis, and he was quite successful in the state at one point, and we decided to team up on this farm, and he was going to teach me everything he knew about cannabis, and we got into it, and
how many people? Here's a farm, 2 acres. Is it you and one guy, or we got more, or what's up?
It's me and one guy in the beginning, right? And it's like, well, we started with acquiring, 3,000 clones. And if you know what a clone is, 6-inch plant, right?
Little baby plant,
yeah.
Of course.
And my first lesson was the guy sends me a picture of them. They look great and they're big. So we wire the money, and what shows up? Something that's completely different. So they're, never pay in advance for things, right? So should have known better, but hey, that's life.
Okay.
So we got smaller clones than we expected. And we ended up planting them, and we ended up getting day laborers, obviously, as needed.
Sure.
And we planted the 3,000 clones, and luckily Eastern Washington has a great climate.
And what 3,000 clones in the full 2 acres? You just loaded the whole motherfucker up?
Oh, yeah. Rows and
rows.
rows.
And rows and rows and rows.
He was the specialist, so I was like, okay, sounds good to me.
And what happened, like, when the harvest came down? Did you do okay? Was it horrible? Were the plant genetics sucky? Like, were you like, fucking, what's up?
No, it was, well, first we had 16 different genetics, which was my first mistake, right?
Okay.
Then secondly, we wanted to wait until we harvested it at the latest moment. Literally, the second we pulled the last plant, it started snowing on us.
Oh, wow.
So we had to figure out a way to hang all the plants, keep them warm enough, because we weren't planning on the snow.
Because that's a lot of plants.
It is. And we did have a greenhouse built, and literally when we hung the last 5 plants, we were all high-fiving, walking out. It's about 4 a.m. The whole greenhouse collapses.
Oh.
Right? Yeah, so my whole harvest is on top of each other, getting snowed on in a collapsed greenhouse. Middle of the night, I have to go steal a 40-foot trailer from someone else's farm, pull it on our land, pull out all the cannabis, go put it in the 40-foot trailer, go get heat spacers. So every lesson that I could imagine that God wanted to teach me about growing, he was really testing to see if I wanted to be in the industry. And
holy shit, dude. That is crazy. And was it salvageable?
Oh, absolutely. We got lucky enough where we found some 40-foot containers, and even though it was a 37-hour workday for us and 30 people, we ended up hanging everything, putting dryers in, and we didn't lose much. Yeah.
So, do you mind taking a picture? Do you mind taking a picture?
Oh, I don't take a picture.
Yeah.
Yes,
I can take a picture.
I was like, she catch that one, but it's all right.
And one more. I like the peace sign up. There you go.
Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Appreciate it. Yep.
So how many pounds did you come down with?
3,300. We ended up on a wet weight. It was like 4,000 or 5,000 pounds, and after drying, it was like a little bit over 2,000.
Wow!
If I remember
still
right. Don't
not
quote
bad.
me.
Yeah,
Let me go check my records in Washington State.
But still not bad though.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I mean, for your first time, a lot of people wouldn't even be able to pull something like that off.
Yeah, well, it wasn't me. To be honest with you, it was really the excellence of Grant and my team. Those guys were seasoned, and I was lucky enough to have them. But yeah, I had their tutelage. But at the end of the day, Washington, I believe, on an outdoor market is 15 cents a gram for wholesale. So the market is really
wow. 15 cents. Is that less than what
pretty much
it costs to make it?
It is. I mean, but on Washington, it's outdoor. You plant it, you water it. You don't need much. And if you have irrigation that's automatic, you can send someone out to the farm every other day. It's really it's for extract at the end of the day, right? Or low end pre-roll. So for us, it was a learning lesson of what we wanted to do. We didn't have a brand, and the farm's there and it's functioning, and
still to this day, or did you get rid of it?
It's there to this day. Yeah.
Still part of it, or
no? I exited. Okay. Yeah, I exited. I learned my lesson and got my. Yeah.
So when you jumped out of that specific situation, did your original guy stay?
Yes.
And is it successful today or no? Medium?
Medium, yeah. It's not as successful as we wish, but it is a 2-acre outdoor farm. So
and
he is breaking even.
And then once you were done with that, what did you do? Then you jumped into this or no?
Then I came to California.
Okay.
Knowing that California was going to go legal, I wanted to see where a cultural fit would be for me to operate. So I traveled every municipality.
Nice.
Got to understand, Adelanto, Desert Hot Springs,
Oakland.
So
you really went deep in the rabbit hole of Cali.
Tulare, Sacramento.
Counties and counties. So
it
make your head spin.
Yeah, it is. So I ended up living, in a Motel 6 right outside one of my rented extraction labs. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't a Motel 6.
Sure.
But I had a lab in Oakland for R&D for 6 months. And that was a learning experience.
And what year was that?
This was where are we at? 2017, 2018?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went into Oakland towards the
2017.
the later part of the Oaksterdam kind of heyday.
Exactly.
And I know you must know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
In the early 2000s, when that was the Mecca. And then there was a massive shift.
Oh, yeah.
Because the city kind of all of a sudden flipped, right? 100%. Got all hardcore, started closing everybody down, started doing all this shit. And then when it came back, it kind of changed.
Yeah, I felt like I was there and I was seeing these empires that were built of guys that just had, 150, 160,000 square foot grows and had the run of everything, and all of a sudden, they're getting raided and shut down and trying to be compliant and looking at the rules, and these guys were shut down for 120 days and bleeding, and I was there as a new guy, as a lab owner. It was much love to watching those guys give me the time and that time of stress of educating me on what the industry was. So,
Absolutely.
I realized in a quick way that if you weren't going to be compliant, that you probably weren't going to survive.
No.
Right?
Yeah,
It wasn't
for sure.
worth it. So
Absolutely.
luckily, I exited Oakland and ended up in Santa Rosa, which is where my life is at now.
That's
and that
a
was
good
more
place,
of my
man.
style.
That's
yeah.
a good.
Yep.
You're not up at the top.
Yep.
You're not down south here
Exactly.
fully. You're like really in the middle.
Yep. Santa Rosa was a great cultural fit. Nice people.
Like the Oreo cookie
Yep. Oh,
with
great.
the cream in the middle.
Exactly. Everyone was awesome there. The restaurants
Santa Rosa's
are great.
popping, dude.
Yeah.
The cannabis events in Santa Rosa
Yep.
have always been good.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it was, not high times, if it was smaller groups or this, that.
Yep.
It's a strong community.
It is.
Big wholesalers,
Big time.
lots of distribution, a lot of good bud coming through there from the north and the south.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
It's a mecca. People
It's a
come in
great
from
place.
Humboldt. It's a good place to drop
Yeah,
off and go.
they don't
yeah.
want to go past there.
Nope, that's
They're
it.
like,
yeah.
we're going back.
Yeah,
You know, you're lower than Santa Rosa. Sorry, buddy. Meet
Yeah.
us there.
Yeah. So that was fun. I still have a license being built out there, an extraction lab and distribution.
Hell yeah, that's great.
And then from there, I was introduced to the Humboldt culture. I remember the first time I went to a
Way
farm.
different.
Oh yeah,
Way different.
The guys look at me and goes, "Okay, man, your energy's off. You're gonna have to drink our well water and sit in our Tesla machine and get shocked. So you're free of this bad energy." So
wow.
Oh yeah, I had
Get
the total.
the fuck
I
outta
swear
here.
to God, he brings me a muddy glass of water. Right, he says, "This is the well water. Be one with our plants, so you're not walking them." And I'm like, "Shit, I'm a rookie. All right, here." So I pound his water and have to sit in this
no.
electric shock machine for 15 minutes.
How
but-
wild was that?
Oh man, it was fun. That was Humboldt for me. I was like, okay, cool.
man.
A lot of eccentric,
A lot of,
old school
yeah.
generational growers.
Oh,
that
yeah.
If it wasn't for them,
Oh,
this
yeah.
industry wouldn't be
No,
here. And
no.
we owe them things.
No.
A lot of people don't notice that, right?
No addresses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going through the woods.
Yep.
Unless you've been taken through there, you're never going to find these motherfuckers.
Exactly.
Plus, it's definitely not the spot you want to roam around.
Definitely
Let me
not.
be very clear. Don't go to Humboldt in these areas and think, oh, I'm going to go find a place and they're going to hire me and I'm going to go rumble around and do all this stuff. No, man. There are guys with gates, shotguns, people sleeping all over the place. They definitely don't like people they don't know.
No new friends, as they say.
No,
right?
yeah,
Especially
no.
now. Definitely now. Back then it was a little bit less
yeah,
lax, but
yeah.
So.
But now when they're really regulating, coming through, and they're not fucking around. If you
Nope.
don't got your license, you're going down.
Definitely.
Most of them, and they definitely cut through almost 70% of all the fucking businesses that were here are gone now.
Yep, it's sad. Sad to see a big mass exodus, and those are the people that are mostly doing it for the right reasons. And I'm a big believer in taking care of the cultivators. Now that I've had my own farm, I understand how hard it is, and
Sure.
yeah, it's sad to see.
You got to give the love to the cultivators, definitely, and the farms. They go through a lot.
Yep.
And going through the transition of being the first in legalized markets, they're also having to deal with all the taxes, fees, bureaucracy, things that, like you said, could keep your place unoperational for fucking 60 days, 90 days. I mean, if you're spending on a giant facility and payrolls and this and everything to all these fucking people, you literally, could be blowing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month.
Oh yeah, these guys can't survive. A lot of them out there. Even if it's 1 month down, they're
Oh,
living
yeah.
from month to month, and it's really sad seeing these generational, cultural, family type businesses getting wiped out because Humboldt wants them to, move a fence 2 feet over for no reason.
Yeah, or whatever
Yeah.
things they now all of a sudden start to change,
Correct.
which is crazy. So let's get into NUGL. What is NUGL? Why'd they bring you on? What's up?
Yeah, NUGL is it's an application and a platform.
Okay.
It's ultimately you'll be able to find dispensaries, find brands, We're about to add our social media plug into it, which will give you the same features as one of the best social media sites out there.
Nice.
Yeah, so you won't get kicked off of like Instagram for consuming cannabis.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
so
people can actually upload videos and content almost kind of like YouTube or Instagram or
yeah,
anything
really
like that.
more Instagram-y than anything.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Yeah.
So is it all on the NUGL app?
It is. It's on the NUGL app and it's on the website. In addition to, we own 3 magazines.
Let's shout them out. What magazines we got?
We got Professional Marijuana Grower.
Okay.
Garden and Greenhouse.
Nice.
And NUGL magazine.
And NUGL.
Yep.
Let's give the websites to each one of
Sure.
these.
ProfessionalMarijuanaGrower.com.
Okay.
Just the way it sounds. GardenandGreenhouse.com.
.com.
Yeah, and NUGL magazine.com.
NUGL for you stoners out there who are like NUGL.
Yeah, just NUGL it, like Google, but NUGL.
Yeah, I love it. That's fucking cool, man. And you must be really excited, right? Did the guys give you a big warm welcome coming into the company and everything?
Absolutely. It's a good core team of people, and their logo is built by the people for the people.
Nice.
And it came out of a position of a lot of maybe some other competitors. I won't mention them and talk
Okay,
negatively.
no, I got you.
We're taking advantage of some of the people, and
Sure.
so we want to stay the value based.
You also
and money
see what they
organization.
did wrong.
Exactly.
Or what they got in trouble for.
Sure. So we're trying to follow the rules and make sure that we add value for
because you're public.
Exactly. We are.
Let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Those who are interested in cannabis stock companies, are a lot of people are like, you know what? That's such an emerging industry, multi-billion-dollar. It's like, look at all these public cannabis companies coming out, and a lot of people are like, man, how do I pick? How do I choose? How do I know if that public company really is successful, or is it what ones call a pump and dump? And I definitely see, a lot of scams and things that aren't legitimate. But when you look at what you guys are doing, you're talking about a software, an app, integrated platform for users to also upload content. And this is a platform that's running, right?
Absolutely.
Working.
Functioning today.
You can go on it today. And how long has it been out?
We have been working on this for over 2 years.
But how long is it launched and out?
About a year.
Okay, so the point is, again, you're out for a year, beta tested,
Correct.
gone through a lot of errors, gone through a lot of bullshit.
Yep.
Shit's running smooth now, right?
It is.
And then there's all the added features and great things that will come to NUGL in the future.
Absolutely. We just finished the acquisition of the magazines a few months back, and now the C-suite was put in 45 days ago, which was part of myself, a new CEO, and a new COO.
Okay.
So the founders have kind of taken a step back and said, okay, guys, we're going to give you the reins. Let's see what you can do.
Let's give a shout out to your new associates at NUGL.
Yes, Mr. CJ Malone.
Nice.
And Esther Santos, the COO and the CEO.
Hell yeah. So they pulled in the old guys, pulled in the new crew.
Yep.
And the new crew has a lot of plans?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm never-ending plans, and not enough time in the day, but it's definitely going to happen.
Absolutely. Any shout-outs to friends or family out there?
Just good old mom. God bless
good
you,
old
mom. I love you. Yeah,
you gotta love it.
I'm in the industry to help you with her fibromyalgia.
Yeah, so, and if you didn't throw mom in the equation, I know you get in big fucking trouble out there for sure.
There you go.
Well, I think on that note, everybody check out NUGL, and when you get a chance, check out HazeRadioNetwork.com. Check out all the great cannabis talk shows, live music, and different things that we got going on, featured DJ sets. Check out all the different cannabis talk shows we have, and check out our website on Haze Radio. Download the app and check it out on HazeRadioNetwork.com. I think after all this talking, all this convention stuff going on, I think it's about time for a little puff break. So smoke a little, toke a little, snack a little, and be back. CWCBE Los Angeles. Peace. You're listening to Haze Radio Network, Cannabis Lifestyle Radio.